When the tide retreats, the mudflat appears like a continent waking up, glossy, silent, yet never empty. Under the slant of dawn, every small ripple becomes a map of currents, of sediment, and of life hiding in plain sight. Tidal creeks run like blood vessels, draining the water back to sea, while carrying an invisible gift, nutrients. You step in and feel it immediately. The mud is soft, almost breathing, each footfall answered by the earth's wet pull. Tiny bubbles rise and burst, gas escaping from below, proof that a vast decomposition engine is always at work. From a distance, it looks peaceful, but this is one of the coast's largest natural pantries. That thin golden sheen on the surface isn't sunlight. It's microalgae, the foundation of an entire food web. Along the edge, roots and silt trap what the water brings in, like a natural net for nutrients. By noon, the glare turns the mudflat into hot metal. Even now, life does not pause. When storm clouds gather, the mudflat changes its voice from gentle to severe, and the rules of survival shift with it. After rain, fresh streams carve new lines across the surface, rearranging the feast beneath the mud. Sunset stains the flats in copper, as if the ground is glowing with the day's stored energy. Look closer and mud stops being mud, sand, leaf fragments, organic crumbs mixed into a living base that feeds an ecosystem. Organic spakes drift lazily in a shallow pool, and that alone is enough to draw thousands of tiny lives. Beneath the surface of a tidal pool, silt hangs like mist. Here, every movement must be gentle, or food vanishes into a cloud of mud. Those small coiled mounds are the signature of Polychaete Vorm's tireless diggers, turning mud into living ground. A mud crab emerges, raising its claws as if tasting the wind, then disappears into its burrow in a single breath. And there a tiny siphon extends from the mud. A shellfish is filtering water, pulling in nutrients, quietly, like a machine. From above, thousands of holes, casts, and trails form a biological map. The mudflat is recording the footsteps of hidden lives. A narrow stream carries fine sediment and lays it down in thin layers. This slow deposition is how mudflats grow richer over time. Some films shimmer like oil, but much of it is microbes and organic matter, transforming decay into usable energy. In the deeper tidal channels, fish gather. They wait for the right water to move in, because the mudflat offers not only food, but shelter. At the lowest tide, the mudflat opens fully. And at once, the first guests begin to arrive.
Deep within the mud, a hidden ecosystem thrives. These bubbles are the quiet breath of life beneath the surface.
Late-day gold spreads across the mud like a carpet. But the true treasure is below, stored alive. A flock lands and fans out like ink in water. Each bird claims a patch, and the hunt begins. Egrets and herons stand motionless. Their stillness is strategy, waiting for prey to slip within reach in shallow water. From far away, they're just dots. Up close, this is a flawless system, hundreds of beaks reading the mud surface. When a beak pulls a worm from the ground, it's more than a meal. It's energy moving from earth into sky. Underwater, young fish slip into tidal pools. They feed fast, hide fast, because the tide is a clock that never waits. Fry glitter like stardust in shallow water. For them, every shadow is a warning. By noon, heat rises and the air trembles. Even the hunters must recalculate where to feed, where to rest, how to reduce risk. A single passing shadow can explode the flock into the air like a storm cloud. On the mudflat, safety is always paid for in energy. The current turns underwater. The school pivots as one, an instinctive response to the pull of the tide.
The incoming tide slowly reclaims the shore, forcing the feeding gulls to retreat further up the sand in the warm light of late afternoon.
A heron steps closer to the channel's edge, each stride measured. It knows prey will be pushed in as the water rises. As the sea returns, feeding intensifies. The mudflat is about to close its doors, and anyone too slow loses the day. Water claims the channels first, then spreads across the plain. The feast sinks back under the surface, like a curtain falling. Bird footprints fill and fade. On a mudflat, nothing lasts, only the cycle. When the exposed mud becomes small islands, birds gather tightly. They wait because tomorrow, the door will open again. A new dawn, and the loop begins again, brutally precise. Water drains, mud appears, life rises. River mouths deliver silt and organic matter, the raw ingredients of the mudflat. This is how the pantry is refilled. Far away, humans redraw the shoreline with concrete and reclaimed land. Change the boundary, and the current can shift with it. Storm runoff surges in, stirring the mud's foundation. When sediment is disturbed, the mudflat can lose its fragile balance. Sometimes the mudflat grows strangely quiet, and that silence can be a sign of a system weakening. Yet where the flat remains healthy, everything continues. New burrows, new trails, new flocks. Life always tries to fill the space. When shorebirds lift off, it's a survival decision. They carry the mudflat's energy far away, sometimes thousands of kilometers. Beneath mangrove roots, young fish gather like seedlings. If the mudflat is the pantry, this is the sea's nursery. At full tide, the mudflat disappears from sight. But it doesn't disappear from the ecosystem, it simply changes form. And then, dawn again. The sea's breathing reveals a world we often forget, because it appears for only a few hours each day. At its busiest, the mudflat feels like a city with no lights. Every creature moving by its own rules. No leader, only the tide. Sunset closes another cycle. The mud glows like embers, reminding us that the energy of earth and water can feed the sky itself. A lone bird lifts off as the water rises. It leaves not because food is gone, but because time is. From above, the true scale becomes clear. Channels, mud, flocks woven into a giant pantry for sea and sky.